We got another one, y'all. I cannot believe this is happening. And hopefully, this isn't the beginning of a string of all of these uprisings happening from Afghan nationals and from other different cultures that are here in the country. This is off the chain, and the lamestream media is not covering this story. Now, this is on the heels of the DC shooting that took place where the Afghan went out there, and we call him evil on this channel. We don't even use that individual's name that did that DC sneak attack on those two National Guard members that were from Virginia. So here's what we're going to do in this video. I'm not going to address this individual by name. He will be referred to as evil too, because the act was evil. Now in this video, I'm going to show you a clip where this individual had the audacity to make a TikTok video talking about him building explode. Wait till you see it. It's going to blow your mind. He can't even run away from this and say, oh, I didn't say that. It's on video. He was bold enough to be on video telling other people what he was building, where he was building at, and who his intended target was. And you also going to hear a breakdown of not just this individual, but what created this cluster that we seeing that is breaking apart, and how the Biden administration strategically placed these people in something like 331 cities, man. So rock with this video. And it's important because where you live at, you have no idea if it's one right around you. So it's best to understand these folks' ideology, what's motivating these people. And this man in this video, when he does that TikTok, he kind of lets you know what the ideology is. Just like the other individual, these folks hate America, but yet they were brought in, given the red carpet treatment by these left-wing lunatics that do this crazy stuff. And then when people start losing their lives and things start going crazy, they always like to hide their hands. They throw stones, hide their hands, and then all of a sudden act like they're just the most peaceful people. And they always come out with these statements like, any violence should be condemned. And if you wait for a second, you'll get the but Trump. And somehow, and wait till you hear how one of these Democrat Congress members spins the DC shooting, or tries to spin it and blame it on Trump. Let's get into this, man. So as you can see right here, Afghan national freed under Biden program, arrested after a TikTok kaboom threat in Fort Worth. Now, I say kaboom because on YouTube, they'll sting you. All right. So let's get off into this breaking report and let you see and hear exactly what's going on. Check this out.
Well, this just in, we have a Fox News alert from Brooke Taylor. You won't believe this. DHS is confirming that an Afghan national was arrested Tuesday after posting a video of himself on TikTok indicating he was building a bomb with an intended target of the Fort Worth area. Mohammed Dawood Al-Qazai is charged at the state level with making a terroristic threat. According to DHS, listen to this. He came to the United States as part of Operation Allies Welcome. So here you have it. This happened Tuesday. Texas Department of Public Safety. This is a second Afghan national, second one this week. Operation Allies Welcome. He had a terror plot. We know it comes the same week that deranged individual, that alleged assassin, took out two of our heroic National Guard, came here on the same program, Operation Allies Welcome, a program that we were assured time and time again by Mayorkas, by Jen Psaki, by Joe Biden himself was safe and secure. But here we have a second data point in 1 week that it was not safe. It was not secure. And we've got to look very hard at this program as President Trump is vowing to make change.
So, as you heard, this is the second attack this week. Well, the second attempted attack this week on the heels of the other individual. Now, check this out, though. This is how the Democrats and the lamestream media do it. They got this man listed in jail, right? So they got him in jail, but look what they list him as. Let me see if I can make this bigger. No, I think that's as big as it gets. Okay. You see his name, race white. So they got him in there as a white man, knowing look at the name. He's not a white man. And they're doing that. So as far as data point wise, it won't show another Afghan in there for those off the chain charges. Now, if they've done that with him, how many Hispanics or people from Nigeria or the Congo or from freaking Mexico or from Bahrain somewhere? How many of those folks that have been arrested are also being listed as white or black rather than what their actual nationality is? These folks are playing in our faces and they know they're doing it. Now, here's the video right here. Check out this TikTok that he does. This is crazy. Check this clip out.
سری هر کس افغان چه مشکل داشته باشه سری او انتیاری میکنم هیچ مشکل نیست.
در کجا هستی؟ آدرست در کجاست؟ یک دقیقه بدارم مایک سمیلی تو بسته که برادر آدرست در کجاست گفتی؟
دالاس پورت ورت.
انتحاری رو در کجا جور میکنی بامبا؟
انتحاری همینجا جور میکنم.
باز کافر هم انتحار میکنی و
سری تانم میکنم سری کافر تانم میکنم کسی که افغان مخالف باشه سری او انتحاری میکنم.
ایره چه رقم انتحار میکنی؟
میکنم.
استی گفتی درست است؟
تکسال هستم دالاس پورت ورت.
بام گفتی در داخل موتر جور میکنی.
همین نشان نباشه.
صبر یک دقیقه بدار. گفتی که انتحاری رو در موتر جور میکنی یا در خانه؟
بله جور میکنم ها.
در کجا جور میکنی؟
در موتر جور میکنم اینه.
بامش از کجا میخری؟
برای تو چی؟ یک کس
جوان در تکساس کالا هستی اینجا خواهنداری خدا نمیکنی یا
میکنم اگه دلیم شما میکنم
آقا در کی انتحاری میکنی
تکساس میگنداری
سری تو انتحاری میکنم سری کاپیرام انتحاری میکنم سری هر کس انتحاری میکنم.
نه بیا سر روغن زرد چرب
صبر انقلاب
بیا سر روغن زرد چرب چی گفته رئیس
نکن کسی را بسته ها برادر بانش
سر
انتحاری هم میکنی
بله
آفرین حالا بشکی زرد تا در کجا جور میکنی در امریکا خود نیست
همینجا در امریکا جور میکنم اینه در لایف میگم خاص در لایف میگم اینه همینجا در پورتوار جور میکنم.
آفرین خود در موتر جور میکنی
در موتر نه در خانه جور میکنی کسی هست که مرا بگیره اینه برش میگم
باز انتحار میکنی
در امریکا در تکساس در دالاس لوکیشن برسن میکنم.
در دالاس هستی در لوکیشن هم امریکایی را میکشی و مسلمان ها را هم دیگه
بچشم.
If you're enjoying this video, do me a solid. Hit that like button because I'll never ask you for a cash app, a super chat, or a donation. But you hitting that like button and the hype button will help the channel a great deal. And if you aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. And once you do, make sure you hit the notification bell and select all. YouTube has issues sending notifications out. But when you select all, YouTube will make sure that you get notified when I upload new videos. Now, did you read that? Were you able to see that and stay with that and read that? That is outrageous. This man flat out said whose lives he wanted to take, where he was building it at. And then the other person who he was talking to tried to kind of put a code word in, talking about making cars. Oh, where are you going to make that yellow car? It was too late. You know, it's like when people back in the day, I don't know if they do this now, but back in the day, you know, you calling somebody and you wanted to get some smoke or something, you know, the wacky tobacco. You know, you didn't call on the phone and say, hey, do you got any, you know, WEED? No, you might call and say, hey, man, what's up, man? You got any of them cookies? Or you got, you know, using the code word. So if anybody's listening, they may know what you're talking about, but you didn't say it. Therefore, it'd be more difficult to prove. This fool just got on there and just said, screw it. He obviously doesn't understand how social media works and how whatever you put on there stays on there in the infinite internet space. And luckily, somebody got hold to this. Now, I want to know who those other two people were he was speaking with, because that's the big question. Is it a network? Because what are the odds on them both doing that in the same week? Now, while that's taking place, look at what our Democrats are doing. Look at what your Democrat Party, they had a resolution vote. One important reminder by Lance Gooden, 194 House Democrats voted against holding the Biden administration accountable for the botched Afghanistan withdrawal that cost the lives of 13 service members. Now, as you can see, this isn't an old post. This is from November 28, 2025. They just did a vote on it. Now, the resolution passed, but look at what happened. 194 Democrats voted against holding the Biden administration accountable for the Afghan withdrawal that led to all of this Operation Allies crap that we're seeing right now. Now, this slipped past me when it happened, but let's look at, I want you to hear what the Biden administration really thinks and thought about crime, which is exactly why we got these radicalized people coming from other countries feeling like they could do kabooms, they could take people's lives because this is what they were brought in to do. Check out this from Cringe John Pierre. And I know her name is Karine, but she is the most cringe press secretary we've ever had. Check this out.
I did talk to the team, and we have a couple of things that I just want to lay out for all of you and on what the DC bill does. It reduces maximum penalties for offenses like murders and other homicides, armed home invasion, burglary.
I'm just going to stop it right there, and I'm going to start this again. It's very short. It's only 20 seconds. Did you hear what she said they're reducing the penalties for? Check this out.
I did talk to the team, and we have a couple of things that I just want to lay out for all of you and on what the DC bill does. It reduces maximum penalties for offenses like murders and other homicides, armed home invasion burglaries, armed carjackings, as I mentioned, armed robberies, unlawful gun possession, and some sexual assault offenses. I did talk to the team, and we
Now, they reducing maximum penalties on taking people's lives, assaulting children, going in somebody's house, strong arming them with a pistol or whatever weapon they got. Do you hear this crap? Carjackings, all of the worst crimes humanly possible. The Biden administration reduced the penalties for it. This is what's leading to this madness. This is why Trump is voiding everything that this man did, because it wasn't even him. You got some radicalized Ivy League person that's never been out in the real world, that's kept their head in books and in Democrat blue circles, that feel like they're doing a great thing. They feel like they're doing a great thing because somehow they believe that they're going to bring in all of these radical people, these professional T words. And you know what I mean when I say T word, it rhymes with schmirrerist, but starts with a T. They're professionals and they're playing the game, but then they get over here as if all of a sudden they're going to be able to say, okay, y'all did y'all thing. You know, you took care of them. Now sit down and just listen to us. What? Right now is the open enrollment period for healthcare, which is why I want to take a moment to give a shout out to the sponsor of this video and partner of the channel, Chapter. Chapter is helping seniors right now who are confused. Some are just new to having to get Medicare. Others who already have Medicare but want to make sure they got the best Medicare plans available. I highly encourage you to reach out to Chapter. Chapter has highly skilled, unbiased agents that are helping seniors make sure that they've got the best Medicare plans available, because it sucks to find out your prescriptions are no longer covered and your doctor is no longer in network on the plan you currently have. The phone call is absolutely free and it could go as quick as 20 minutes. In less than 20 minutes, you can find out to make sure you got the best Medicare plan available. And the great news about it is that Chapter has been helping seniors save as much as $1,100 a year, making sure they have the best Medicare plan. So I'm sure you can find something to do with an extra $1,100 in your pocket. So don't waste time. It's extremely important to protect yourself and protect your health. So give Chapter a call or follow the website at askchapter.org/realpolitics and make sure you've got the best Medicare plans available. They'll be the ones to get their noggins chopped off way before on the right, because one thing I love to say about the right wing, we definitely believe in the Second Amendment. And you best to believe my home is protected, as I'm sure yours is. You know whose isn't? These left-wing radicals who want all of these crazy people here, but yet can't defend themselves. They talk about toxic masculinity. Let it go down. You know who they're going to be looking for? That same level of masculinity and strength that they've called toxic to come and save them. Conservative women have more cojones than the most strong, I guess, left-wing radical beta males they have on that side that feel like, hey, listen, we can just talk this out, right? What? You don't negotiate with T-word that rhymes with schmerrerist. But this is what they did. Now, check out this post from Anthony Blinken. Now, this is the Democratic Party. This is posted by CCP Skip Tracer. The Democratic Party deliberately dispersed Afghan Islamist operatives across 331 cities and 49 states to achieve nationwide saturation, maximizing their ability to target and neutralize American civilians. Look at this post by Blinken. Hillary, Holly, and Kiera and the Operation Allies welcome team. Because of your leadership, more than 72,000 Afghans will resettle in 331 American cities and 49 states in just 5 months. Our country's largest resettlement effort in decades. Congrats on your well-earned Sammy's 22 award. And they got an award for this crap. He was the worst Secretary of State ever. And this is shared in 2025, but he posted this in September of 2022. And I wonder that Hillary, no, it only got one L, so it wasn't Hillary Clinton. But do you see this? It's kind of like the Russia hoax. People receive like Pulitzer Prizes and writing awards for promoting a fake story that they knew was fake. That's what the left does. They reward terrible behavior. Gavin Newsom was a horrible mayor. Guess what happens? He becomes a terrible governor. That's why I say even in Chicago, as horrible as Brandon Johnson is, the fact that the citizens haven't tried to take his head off means that he may move into the governor's spot, even though he's catching a lot more backlash from his voters than Gavin Newsom does. I believe on the left, their thing is to look for a leader who can steal from their constituents, who will lie to them left and right, who will create absolute chaos in their city or state. And they can do that without the people ever singularly blaming them. They're skilled enough and great enough liars where they can trick the people and say, don't trust your eyes, don't trust what you're hearing, trust what I'm telling you. You know, and when the people say, okay, it's like the Prop 50 thing in California. Gavin Newsom was able to sell these people on their own destruction. They voted for it using Trump derangement. Now, these same people that were getting awards for bringing these people in, listen to what this man has to say, okay? Listen to who he supports after he was brought into this country. And this says by John Ferguson, warning Texas, this is Islam in Plano, Texas. And you see what it says? We must support Iran in this one thing to eliminate the enemy. We have blatant kufr. And a kufr is those who reject Islam. So listen to what this radical nut job says. Check this out.
Wallahi, they are not the same. And I say this as somebody who strongly disagrees theologically and politically with the country of Iran. But still, on the one hand, you have Iman, even if it has mistakes. And the other, you have not just kufr, but blatant kufr. Not just average kufr, but the most deviant, arrogant type of kufr that we have not seen for many millennia. This is pharaonic kufr on the one side. No matter whatever mistakes the other side is making, you cannot equate the two. And so, in this current conflict going on, I state unequivocally that yes, while I do not support Iran unconditionally in this conflict, whatever grievances we have, and we have grievances, let us agree to pause them for the time being. I'm not saying ignore. Once things settle down, once things are calm, once we have both eliminated the common enemy, wallahi, they are not the same.
And who do you think the common enemy is? It's the West. That's why they're settling here. Out of all these years, they never wanted to rush over here and build up and do what they're doing now. Their attempt, and this is listed in the book called Morals and Dogma, which was written by the 33rd degree Freemason Albert Pike. And in it, they expect 3 world wars, okay? And the first 2 already happened. And the third one, as predicted by Pike, what he says is that it is to get the Muslims and the Jews to have a massive collision. And from this collision, it's going to spark it globally, which is why you see the Muslims moving strategically all around different places globally, wanting to attack the West. They want to convert these nations to Sharia law and to Islam and use it to dominate and take over the West. And then from that war, what Albert Pike and the Freemasons thought is that when that happens, the people will be begging for leadership, and those who have been anointed by the Democrat Party or by the Freemasons or whoever will stand as the leaders over the people who will be so beaten down that they will want leadership and want to be told what to do to get life back to as normal as possible. And that's what's in it. And this is what the Democrats brought in as if they could control it. Now, listen to this radicalized California Democrat, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, as she spews her propaganda, trying to spin this on Trump. And then after that, we're going to bring this thing home and let you really hear how the government is pushing back on this. Check this out.
We need to make sure that we have tight and appropriate and proper vetting. If there were gaps that admitted this person, they would have failed over multiple levels of gaps. And this individual was trusted enough to participate in assisting our military during the war in Afghanistan. So I just think, the president looks everywhere except inward to blame his own policies. We need to make sure that we don't have our military deployed in our cities. We're handling law enforcement responsibilities, and we need to make sure that we address gun violence. We certainly need to make sure we always have the proper and appropriate and tight vetting processes, and those should be reviewed. But it's never the president's fault or his policies when it comes to his reaction, and it's pretty disgusting.
It's not his fault. And the first thing she starts off with, we really need to check the vetting. These folks, oh my God, they'll drive you bonkers just listening to them, because now vetting's important. Now we got to know. Why? Because it's Trump. Under Biden, the Republicans kept screaming, hey, we don't know who these people are. These folks are coming from prisons and insane asylums. We don't know who they are. The Democrats, oh, that's racist. Now, whenever you bring up a point and you want to, that's against something that they're doing. If somebody committed a crime and you calling it out, and it's a woman, you're a sexist and a misogynist trying to hold women down. Forget the fact that this woman she did a crime like the Florida Congresswoman, the Democrat Florida Congresswoman who stole $5 million in FEMA money, and then want to say, the Trump administration, the Republicans, they known to picking on black and brown people. What does that have to do with you stealing, you and your brother? Or Debbie Wasserman Schultz, she wants to interject gun violence, gun control into this situation of what happened in Texas. He made a threat over the phone about a kaboom. And you know, if more people had weapons, that dude in DC might not have been able to get to them guards. Let him try that in Florida. He's not going to make it off the block. And that's the one thing we do have going for us as a country. If people want to kick it off here, unlike all those other countries, we have weapons here. And this is why the Democrats keep pushing for gun control. That's why they want us to give up our weapons, because they know these other radical groups coming, they're not going to follow those rules. Heck, they already broke them coming into the country. These folks get on your nerves. Now, check out Peter Ducey as he really digs into this story. Check this out.
There's been a lot of talk this week about how the last president, Joe Biden, and his hurry to get out of Afghanistan brought people into this country who should not have been here. And we have gone through the archives. We've pinpointed the exact moment that President Biden might have realized that his policies could be a problem.
Yeah, I'm asking you a question because before. No, wait a minute. I'm asking you a question. Is that accurate, the best of your knowledge? What?
I don't think it's the issue that, do you think that people have an issue with pulling out of Afghanistan or just the way that things have happened?
I think they have an issue that people are likely to get hurt.
Seems like it.
Who was that masked man?
Yeah, well, the mystery man is here on set. That was 4 years ago. Are we just now realizing that the Biden-led exit from Afghanistan was a threat to U.S. Homeland Security? Or has this been a problem all along and we just haven't noticed it as much because there hasn't been a high-profile terror attack in a big city?
Well, I think what you just said is exactly right, is that we're now focusing on that period 4 years ago in a way that we did. But if you remember, we weren't empowered at that time. I went to Afghanistan, met with the commanding generals there before the withdrawal, and knew that the withdrawal was going to be chaotic if we didn't change something. But then I went to Doha, to Qatar, and I met with the commanding general there that was receiving those people right after the chaotic withdrawal. And you know what he told me? He was forced to take people who came in, who had no ID, who simply said, "This is who I am," on a Post-it note. He then gave them what he called a paper passport, and they took off to Fort Dix. So there were tens of thousands of people in that first chaotic withdrawal who are here today, who are whoever they said they were. No biochecks, no anything. So do we have a problem here today that we're looking at one example, but it actually underlies a much bigger example? Don't worry about this guy. Worry about 10 or 20,000 that are still here, who may not be who they say they are, who in fact were let in during that chaotic withdrawal.
There's been a lot.
It is insane when you really think about the fact that we brought in reports say between 72 and 76,000 Afghans with no vetting, none. How do we know that some of them weren't members of the Taliban that are just, played the role to get into the country? We don't. And then when you went into the vetting, when you really dug into it, oh my God, they did zero vetting besides, what's your name? Why are you coming? I don't want to be here. I'm afraid of the Taliban. Okay. They actually were giving people the phrases to say. So when they got in front of a border agent, a customs agent, or in front of an asylum judge, they knew exactly what to say. There was literally pamphlets, trainings on this. In whatever language they spoke, they were being educated. I mean, think about it. You had AOC doing webinars teaching illegal immigrants how to evade ICE. How is these things legal? But that's what makes America America, because we do have laws. And we can't just get pissed off at what somebody does and go and yank them up because we don't like it. They have to have committed a crime, even if what they're doing is so close to the edge. But is it actually a crime? Maybe unethical, maybe unmoral, but it's not a crime. And that's what separates us from the animals. That's what separates us from the other countries. So I do love that aspect, because if we remove that, who's to say that anybody else that gets empowered doesn't use it the other way? But you got her doing trainings. You got Jasmine Crotchet and other people like her. AOC even had an illegal immigrant on staff that she helped smuggle to Colombia when Trump started doing the deportations. He was making like $80,000 a year. Her team literally helped smuggle this man out of the country. But you had conservative journalists that went and tracked this dude down and spoke with him, got the goods on him. So their hands are dirty, and that's why they want to spend. Whenever you see them trying to throw the football to the other team, you already know it's because it's too hot for them to hold, because even they know. And the mainstream media don't want to admit it, but their base, everybody that's a Democrat, as far as the voter side, are not evil and are not deranged. I have a relative that's 72 years old. 75. And he told me flat out, he don't agree with any of the stuff that they do, but he just can't bring himself to vote Republican. He's literally been programmed. He grew up in Michigan, and I won't say what city because my family member sees this, they'll know, but it wasn't Detroit. It was one of my father's cousins, but he literally told me he couldn't do it. And I'm like, wow, man. So you will vote against your own best interest because of the programming, because of it's a D or an R. That is insane to me. But hey, we talking about left-wing radicalized Democrats. Now, in this last clip right here, this goes more in depth as far as on the Texas, on what happened here in Texas with the threat and what Trump has set in place for all people trying to come into this country. Check it out.
All third world countries. Is this list static, or could it possibly grow?
No, this could absolutely grow, Dana. This is evolving, especially as we do some real analysis on this. But I do think it's incredibly important for viewers to know what the prior administration was doing when it comes to vetting, especially when it came to this Operation Allies Welcome. This vetting was paper thin. They weren't doing biometric vetting. They weren't really doing criminal vetting, criminal screening, cyber screening, financial crimes. They weren't cross-referencing. They weren't looking at social media. So President Trump and Secretary Noem have completely overhauled this process to make sure we're diving in deep and seeing who are the people who are actually entering this country. As your past guests have said, almost 200,000 Afghan nationals entering this country, many of which were military-age men. The fact of the matter is the Biden administration didn't know who was coming into our country, causing a huge national security crisis. And that's exactly what we saw the other day with this terrorist attack, and then this near terrorist attack out of Fort Worth, Texas, where this individual was threatening to blow up a building. Both of these individuals being Afghan nationals, both of them coming in under this Biden administration program.
Wow, that is crazy. So you saw that list of the countries, and President Trump has put a stop to it. As a matter of fact, he's considering not allowing anybody from third world countries to come in again. And you better believe the vetting process from here on out is going to be the way it should be. But I mean, can you wrap your mind around the fact that our president and his administration allowed 20 million, and I thought it was only between 72 and 76,000 Afghans here. She just said it's freaking 200,000. Oh my God. Spread out strategically, because all you need is a couple to get together and try to do something that could take American lives. And I don't know what it's going to take for the left-wing radicalized voters to realize this. This is a bad thing. This is not good. They want to be everything to everybody, but if you look into their personal lives, these people that are out there could protest all day. They're screaming, yell at the top of their head, talk about babies in Gaza, but yet you're not doing anything for the children here that are hungry. I can't stand disingenuous people like that. We got enough homeless, hungry children that don't have parents. We got enough of that here where they can wet their whistle and just give all the love they want. But they focus on someplace far away. You know why? Because if they keep doing that, they know that there's no way for them to get over there and do that. They know it. So if they just keep focusing on that, nobody will notice, like, hey, dude, all that you're screaming about there, why don't you just do it here? How much you want to give up? How much time you willing to sacrifice? Who can we let live with you? They don't want that. They're not opening their houses to illegal immigrants. They don't want that. They're not willing to go in their bank account and give money to illegal immigrants. They don't want that. As a matter of fact, these people are some of the most miserable people, because to waste your time all day screaming and shouting about this and the genocide and yada yada, but right in your backyard, you got the same thing happening, but you care more about what's happening in between Israel and Palestine than you do about your fellow American brothers and sisters that's going through the same struggles. It's people getting killed here every day. It's children that's starving here every day. It's women that's being mistreated and abused here every day. But you want to focus on the fact that a Muslim woman has to wear her hijab? You focusing on that. When that's their culture, they chose that. But you want them to be free like you, who cannot work, get Medicaid, even though you're able-bodied, live off your food stamps and your welfare, and then trash the country that's giving that to you. Man, get out of here. So I just wanted to bring y'all this and let you know another one, that's number 2. And so I don't know if there's any more coming, but I believe that the FBI, Homeland Security, Department of Justice have upped the ante. And now they're doing everything they can to shut this stuff down. Cash Patel and them have been busting networks and rings all over the place. So let's see. But I believe in the Most High God. And I believe that the Most High God has his hands wrapped around this country. And I believe that, you know, the American people that are on the left are going to benefit from those of us who do stay prayed up, who do believe in the Most High God, and who know that there is no way that the Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, the Most High God, will leave us hanging. This is all, I believe, just something that has to happen to open up people's eyes to realize, hey, certain cultures just don't mix. That Muslim Sharia type culture or ideology does not mix with Western culture. It just doesn't. The experiment was done. It's not going to work out. Boom. Send them back. But hey, that's just my opinion. Let me know yours in the comments. And if you've watched up to this point, I want to say I thank you from the top and bottom of my heart. I really do appreciate you for watching this video and for being here, sharing this time with me. And if you haven't already, hit that like button. And if you aren't subscribed already, subscribe. And most importantly, make sure that you stay safe and that you be great. I'm Brian Maxwell saying I look forward to seeing you at the top. Over and out, y'all.